Howdy. Today I'm sitting back a little bit more because I wanted to see just how good this microphone is. And it seems to be okay so far. This is a vlog. It's a Monday. I decided I want to do kind of a vlog about me and my mother and her dementia. And I've done some videos in the past, and I did one that I thought was kind of cool when I gave like 9 tips for caregivers of people with dementia. And I gotta tell you, I can follow all of my own tips, and I do obviously because I gave them. But one thing that everyone needs to know is that you don't get the same person every single day. And things change, and sometimes you find yourself having to do things that you never, ever thought you were going to do for an adult. And I'll say that for those of you who have kids. I've never had kids, so there's things I've had to do that I never thought were going to happen. And let me just preface that by saying it is not the most difficult thing in the world 24/7. But it ain't easy. It's not easy at all. I have it easier than most people. I'm bigger than my mother. It's my mother, so it's not my wife's mother or, someone else's mother. And I know some of her habits well. I have always gotten along real well with children and babies. And my mother is probably at the stage where she's more like a 1.5 to 2-year-old. I say that because when she actually says a sentence that makes sense, it's a rare event. Usually when we talk, she is talking about people who aren't there, and they're telling her to do stuff. And I know that as a kid, I used to blame everything on Huckleberry Hound. That's what I was told. But Mom just says they, or she, or he. She will ask me about my sister. I don't have a sister. Ask me about my brother. Don't have that. Ask me about relatives who have passed away, saying that they said different things. And I just go along with it for the most part. Because it doesn't do a lot of good to argue. When I gave the tips, I said there are certain answers that you always give for certain things as much as possible. So there's a lot of things where she would say a sentence, but it's a question, made absolutely no sense. Yes, no, or maybe. And she's just good with it, okay? Or if that's how you feel, whatever. But my mother was always stressed, and she was not necessarily known as a happy person. She could play it off kind of well when she was with a crowd of people, but I'll tell you the truth. Most of the time, she was just faking it. She had her set of friends, and when she was with those friends, they all got along well. They knew the stories. I mean, knew these people for 30 years or so. And she knew that they were trustworthy and they were good people, so she could let it down with them. But if she was in a crowd, like my mother bowled for 3 years up in northern Maine when we were up there, and she won a lot of trophies also. And she could play the game of being overly friendly with all these people, and we were buddies and have all kind of laughs. But she never, ever invited any of those people to our house or where we lived, because we didn't have houses on the base. And they never invited her over because she wouldn't have gone. So that was my mother. She never really saw the good things in life. She was not a positive person. She was always worried about something going wrong. So she is now an older person who does not necessarily see the good in life, who acts like a 1.5 to 2-year-old. So at least 5 or 6 times a day, she says to me, "You're trying to kill me." If I ask her to get up to go to the bathroom, you just want me to die. Wow. How did we jump to that? But at a certain point, you have to let it go. Every once in a while, I say to her, no, you're trying to kill me. I'm not trying to kill you. You wish I was dead. I don't wish you were dead. Okay, well, at least I know you care that much about me. That may seem a little cruel, but it's a little game that we play with each other. Because sometimes I'm looking to see, okay, what if I said, do you want to kill me? And she said yes, which she did once. And so I went to the kitchen and got a knife and said, here's the knife. You can kill me. I don't want to kill you. You said you wanted to kill me. I don't want to kill you. Okay, well, here's the knife if you really want it. I don't want to kill you. Okay, fine. Because often she says things that she doesn't mean. She doesn't necessarily know it. And there it is. But there are changes. By, I think, the 24th or 25th of January, she will have been here 3 years. And she's a totally different woman than that point. She's gotten to a point now where I have to actually guide her to the chair to sit down. She knows which chair to go to, but then she'll just stand there with her walker and she's not sure what to do. The same thing happens with the bathroom. When we go in there, I have to take her hand and bring it down to, we have these railings on the side of the toilet that she uses. I have to bring her hand down, and once her hand is on there, she knows what to do. Sometimes I have to be the one who pulls her pants and underwear down because she'll just kind of stand there not knowing what to do. She even said one time, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I got to tell you the truth. In those moments, those are the only moments where I feel really sad about things. Because most of the time, I don't feel sad because I can separate the job from everything else. I know my mother was stressed. I know she got the dementia because of the stress. And all I do is I just try to be as nice as I can within reason because there are those times. We had an episode. We've actually had a few episodes now where I bought her this chair that lifts her up. I did that because when she was here the first 5 months or so, and I would say, let's go to the bathroom because I was timing it. Sometimes she didn't want to go. And she was in this chair, then it leaned way back, and it was hard to get her out of the chair. Mom is not a light woman. She's around 200 pounds or so. So I bought this lift chair, and it gets her up. So now she gets out of the chair every time. But lately, she is getting out of the chair when I'm not in there. And she's sitting on the legs part. And those legs aren't meant to hold 200 pounds. And sometimes she's getting out of that chair and she's sitting in these cushy living room chairs that we have. And it is a job to get her out of them because she doesn't want to get out. She can't get out on her own. If she had something to hold on to and press on that was higher, she could, but they're low. And she just started doing it. And I have no idea why. I thought it might be something that's called sundowning. A lot of folks with dementia or older people, they get agitated when the sun goes down. Well, we haven't had much sun. So I tried to turn on all the lights, but that doesn't seem to have changed anything. So sometimes I now have to sit in there for a while. And after a while, sometimes she calms down. Sometimes she doesn't. But if she hasn't, I just say, sit back down, and she sits back. Still, I have had to basically take her, sometimes punching me and biting me. And not that that hasn't happened in the past, but it's happening a lot more often now. And my mother never hit anybody. I never had a spanking. I never got punished. Okay, I got punished, but I never got hit by either of my parents. They didn't believe in that. I was a good kid, though, so I really didn't give them a lot of reasons to need to punish me in that way. But this is what she does now. Mom is using a little bit of profanity, nothing really bad, and it's because there's no movies, almost no movies that I can find to put on that don't have any cussing, except maybe the Chipmunks, Dennis the Menace, or Little Rascals. Even Harry Potter. I've got her watching some Harry Potter, but they say some things in there, and so she started saying those things. But that's not a big deal. The bigger deal, of course, is that she gets agitated, but then she has those calm moments. She wants food, and then you give it to her, and she eats half of it. Or sometimes you give her food, and then she eats it all, and now she's still hungry. On those days, I don't give her more because I'm trying to cut back. She has had bouts of constipation. This is a new thing. I got to tell you, this is a really relatively new thing, probably within the last 6 to 9 months. And she never really had that before. And now it gets to the point where, unfortunately, because she can't communicate, you just see her, This is what she does. I hear it. I go get her. We go to the bathroom. And then she just can't get anything out. And so then I try to ply her with Miralax or prune juice and whatever. But she doesn't know the thing about let's let it wait and work its way through. We had a day last weekend where it took the entire process took 3 hours to get through. And she was in dire straits. And the only thing I could keep saying is, I'm here with you. I can't really help you with it. And you're thinking that's the truth? Remember that thing where I said that you get used to having to do things and touch stuff that you never, ever, ever, ever thought you were going to do? I had to do it. Now, I'm not religious, just to get that out of the way. But I was blessed on a couple of things. I take off my glasses, I can't see anything clearly. Everything is fuzzy. So I had my glasses. I had my rubber gloves on. Or actually nitrile, because I'm allergic to latex. But I had my nitrile gloves on. And I had prepared myself that I might be touching something I don't want to touch. I don't know that I could have done this a year ago. But now you have to do it. I had to do it. There's no one else to do it. I had to give her a little bit of relief. Not a bunch, but a little bit. Now, I didn't expect it. And the thing I was worried about is something dropping on the floor unexpectedly. So I had to do what I had to do. This is one of those things that you have to acknowledge. I had to acknowledge. I have to do what I have to do. It's weird. She no longer takes her teeth out. I made that directive. Because the lady next door, who's a former CNA, that's certified nursing assistant, for those of y'all who didn't know what that meant, used to work in a nursing home. So she knew about taking teeth out, but a lot of the patients she worked with did not have dementia. So mom would fight her on getting the teeth back in. And let me tell you something. You cannot get the teeth back in on someone who does not want to put them in. But of course, that limits what they can eat. So at a certain point, I went online and did a bunch of research, determined, okay, she's at that point now. It's better to have her teeth in so that she's eating and chewing her food and can digest it rather than trying to just have her eat mush and soup and whatever. So her teeth are never coming out again. It's a strange life. It's hard to do my business sometimes because of times when she's, like I said, this agitated state. If I have to go in there and sit with her, I can't work. I just can't. I have to basically just stay in there because my computer is here, and that's how that is. I can't work on my tablet. I can't take my laptop in there. Well, I could, but I need a new laptop. My laptop's a little slow, and it's not going to get the job done, especially the work that I'm trying to do. So it kind of impedes that. It's just strange. But I'm going to tell you this. No matter what happens, no matter how bad it might get, because it's probably going to get worse than it is now, I'm going to keep her here with me for as long as I can. Because she took care of me when I was a child. I know, because my background is in healthcare, so I've been in a lot of nursing homes. I know that I might need some help every once in a while, but I'm going to give her better and more dedicated care than she'll ever get in a nursing home. Now, it doesn't mean that it will never happen, that I get to a point where I say, you know what, at this point, I just can't do it anymore. But she did it for my dad when he was close to passing away. from issues that he had, and she got a bed, and he basically stayed in the bed down in the living room the entire time, and she took care of him. And it's just what you do. I've talked to my other family members who don't live in this area, but a couple of them said that they would come up and give me spells where I could have time to maybe go somewhere else, or even just to stay in the house and sleep, because that's weird too. Anyway, this is a vlog. You didn't learn anything, or maybe you did. Y'all let me know. But this is day 13. We got 17 more to go. Happy Monday. Y'all take care.